This is David Morgan of themorganreport.com, and we are doing a backstage with Gary Thompson, Brixton. Gary, I just got a member of the Morgan Report, and he wrote me an email, and he said, here are the drill results. What do you think? I won't name the company. Drill results were above average, but what I told him is these are good, above average. But I can't tell you anything more than that because I don't know if there's enough there or not. In other words, just because you get some good drill results, how big is the project? And district size plays are rare, but when they do happen, they can be not only company builders, they can be those type of stories that everybody in the junior space loves to hear. The stock goes from X to 10X or 20X or 40X or sometimes even 100X. So I know that your project could be, I want to be careful with my words, substantial. So let's drill down on the Thorn Project and let's talk about the potential with that project.
On the Thorn, hey David. Yeah, it's it's an exciting project, and it's one of these opportunities that just keeps on giving. And it's really been since about 2018, the property morphed into this. I guess now we're something like just under 3,000 square kilometers. 3,000 square kilometers. So we have an 80-kilometer trend, and what we've assembled over the last 10 years of working on this Thorn project is our own pore-free copper gold belt. And I'm going to throw molybdenum and silver in there and maybe some lead zinc, but really it's a copper gold pore-free belt. And what's interesting about this, the best analog that we have for the project is a world-class deposit called Pebble, which I think most people in the mining business will appreciate. It's one of the largest copper gold deposits in the world. And interestingly, geologically, it actually formed not far from Thorn around 90 million years ago. And since then, subsequently to the deposition of that deposit, there's been major displacement along the Denali Fault, which actually moved it to where it is today. So we have similar age to Pebble. We have similar rocks to Pebble, and the grade starting to shine there. And what's interesting is that we don't have one giant porphyry deposit. We believe we have many. The other analog we have is a district in the Golden Triangle called the Sulphurettes Camp, which includes Seabridge's KSM and Tudor Gold, Treaty Creek. That camp there also looks very similar to what we have at Thorn. So we're talking big scale stuff. That the targets that we're working on, we have, I think, identified 14 target areas, and the budget this year for 2022, which will likely be somewhere north of $10 million, is going to focus on 2, 3, maybe 4, if we're lucky to get out there and get some more work on those top 3 or 4 projects. But most of the drilling budgets really focus on 2 of those big target areas, and that one is Camp Creek, which is we demonstrated last year 2 deep holes into this Camp Creek porphyry target, which is dominant copper, gold, silver, and molybdenum. That's a large-scale porphyry target that looks like a block cave mining opportunity. And what I mean by that is, if people aren't familiar with block cave, it's effectively the new large-scale mining method that is becoming more economic than open pit mining for a couple of reasons. Is you can extract the high-grade part of the system without having to move 4 or 5 billion tons of material. So you can take out a 500 million or 1 billion tons of ore and better economics potentially than open pit. So that's the kind of target we're looking at Camp Creek. And then the second target we're drilling this year is a target called Trapper. It's a Trapper gold target that we acquired in 2020, and have had some really good success drilling on that target last year. And it's more of a gold dominant system, but we think there could be a copper porphyry driving it at depth there. One of the interesting features that we're just unraveling from we did a very large airborne geophysical survey, and I think we're on a number 3 of processing it and potentially have one more processing with some additional data coming in before we're ready to drill it. But what it's showing is that we've got a very deep system, and these things may be connected at depth where we're not 100% sure, because they're, you know, about 10 kilometers apart. So we've got a massively scale to a mineralized system that you know, I feel like we're just barely scratching the surface here. So lots of good news coming out, lots of catalysts, I think, for Brixton. Yeah, certainly one to watch this year.
So tell me more about the methodology that will be better economics than open pit. Can you describe that a little more?
Sure. Well, block cave mining is basically a large-scale underground operation where they can go down and undercut the ore body effectively underneath it and drop it down and move that material out, versus, say, a large open pit where you've got a lot of waste material around it. If you have an ore body that's a cylinder, you've got a lot of waste rock around it you've got to remove to mine down and get all of that material out. So it ends up being just a lot more waste you have to deal with. But for the block cave, it's just effectively just a large underground. I have to call it block cave because they take out big blocks of material. So it's a large underground operation. Well, and then, you know, companies that are doing well at this is like Newcrest. If you look at what they're doing at the Red Chris mine in BC, in Australia, in Cadia, they're one of the world leaders in block cave mining.
The risk of embarrassing myself, Gary, is it similar like what I would call room and pillar? Where,
yeah, I guess, I mean, in a way it is, but it's at a scale that is probably unknown to a lot of people. It's, you know, the amount of material you're talking. I could say 500 billion tons worth of material can be, we'll call it surgically mined out versus you know, other mining methods don't usually take that kind of material, that scale of material out.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with, you know, room and pillar, and I am familiar with what you're talking about, but I think the viewers would like to hear, especially anything in this business that gives you an economic advantage. And that's one of the things we've written about, is what the future of mining looks like. But I want to focus on Brixton and you. So we've talked about the scale. There was some pushback on the Pebble with the Bristol Bay situation. What's where are you? Do you have any, you know, problems with that, or can you comment?
Yeah, I mean, we're still exploration phase company. You know, we've got a lot of work to do to get to feasibility and demonstrate economics on the project. But you know, we've been busy. You know, since we started about 10 years ago, we formed a partnership with the Taku River Tlingit First Nations and the Tahltan central government that are basically, we're working within their traditional territory. So we're building a long-term partnership with the local First Nations to advance the project in a respectful and sustainable manner. And, you know, we see a path, since our land position has grown pretty dramatically over the years. We now have access to road on the southern end of the property. And, you know, an engineer once said to me once, and I always remember this: if you can find a mineral deposit or develop a mineral deposit within 100 kilometers of tidewater, you're in the money zone from you know, what it takes, because you want to get these things that, you know, close to infrastructure as you can. So I would say, you know, we've got some infrastructure challenges for sure, but you know, we can fly there. You can leave Vancouver on a commercial flight to Whitehorse and be in camp for lunch. So you can't say that about a lot of projects in Northwest BC and certainly other parts of the world. So, and we believe we have access to tidewater. There is a route that we have mapped out that we've got to do some more engineering work on. So we're starting to de-risk the project and build on these infrastructure opportunities that will you know, allow this thing to shine when it's ready. So it's coming together.
All right, good. Well, thanks for taking the hard questions. I will ask you, is there anything we haven't talked about you'd like our viewers to know on this backstage one-on-one with me?
Well, I think just the general takeaway. I mean, I guess if I were to put it in Cole's notes for the investors, you know, the company's trading at sub 50 million market cap. We've got 3 billionaires as our largest shareholders in the company, all mining made guys, and we're fully financed for the year. We're going to have probably more than 10 million to go on the ground, and yeah, I think the valuation where we're sitting at sub 50 million, and we're building $1 billion company here. That's the objective. That's the goal. This is a major company stuff, so certainly that's the highlight. And Brixton, keep an eye on Brixton Metals.
We're keeping an eye on Brixton, Gary. So how do people find out more? Can you give us your website, please?
Yeah, that's brixtonmetals.com. And you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the usual social media channels. Or give me a call. Happy to chat.
That's one thing I love about this business is you can talk to the top dogs in the junior mining industry most of the time. And that's rare, and we appreciate it. Gary, thank you for your time. It was nice to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.